Welcome to the Chaos Theater, punks. I'm, as always, your sardonic tour guide, Nihilus. Tonight I present to you Our Go Monday.
Our Go Monday?
What, rail yard ghosts, Johnny Hobo, window crashing job creators, local news legends? You telling me Our Go Monday isn't a folk punk band?
Fair.
Right. Hello and welcome to What's Up, Punks. We take a look at the myriad of subgenres underneath the umbrella of punk. Today we'll be taking a look at folk punk. New year, same old punk. Be honest, walking into this one, you thought it was going to be hill folks with steampunk tech. I sure as hell did. Let's play the music of the Appalachians like it's a Ken Burns documentary, but the subject matter is stick and poke tattoos, human rights, whiskey, overthrowing the government, and the best way to hop on a moving train. But first, a prayer to an outer god looking in. Oh, great cosmic horde that all on YouTube fears and praises, the copybot. Be kind to this small channel, protect it from your mighty wrath, as we use snippets of music to inform and gain new listeners to the sound, as it is allowed under fair use. Amen. Okay, with that out of the way, what is folk punk? It's a fusion of the bare-bones acoustic anthem sound of folk music and the aggressive sounds and speed of punk music. Or to put it another way, if we traded out amps and mics for soup cans and bass guitars with banjos. Hey, a washboard. Or is that the drums?
That just be a washboard bass?
Shut the f. Will and Sam of the band Junkyard Fort describes it as such. It's a community. It's a subculture. It's anti-capitalist. You know? It's about caring for each other. It's often about helping each other through life struggles, which often includes mental illness and addiction. It's also about finding a way to get by, despite, all of life's crap and all the stuff life throws at you. Just finding a way to get through. Yes, of course, they keep an old punk tradition alive.
I knew punks. They were the nicest people in the world.
Charlotte Grant of the zine Folkpunk's Not Dead has this to say on the subject. To the outsider, we may look like a gang of degenerates, and they might be right. But we are also so much more. We are a tight-knit family of punks who were in search of homes, friends, and love. We found those things in each other. So if you ever need a friend who will hype you up, sing a song, get you home safely at the end of the night, look no further than your local folk punk show. Honestly, it's a bit of a chocolate and peanut butter situation. Both folk music and punk music have a history of talking against the system that holds punks down. So the two kind of meld into a peanut butter cup of music. Technology. DIY is key here.
Get your hands on the fundamentals. It's what you need to know to do it right.
Hands-on TLC.
Weekdays 4 to 8.
Swear to God, that's the only home improvement joke in this whole video. Probably. This is definitely a genre where you see a washboard and a washtub paste used as main sources of music. Beyond instruments that can also clean clothes, Lord knows you crusty motherfuckers aren't using it for that, acoustic guitars, banjos, accordions, and drums are hallmarks of the folk punk sound. Also the 4 major chords. And the major minor chords. Any other chords are not really necessary, just kind of for flavor. That's not a diss. Folk music just be like that. Outside of that, whatever you can do for yourself. The tech lowlife need not be high this time around. You can get away with recording a whole folk punk album on your phone or tape deck. Not saying you can't throw your recordings into a computer and do some sound mixing, just saying don't let your lack of familiarity with that keep you from putting down a song. Aesthetic. Folk punk songs are usually self-aware views on anti-capitalism, drug abuse, smoking, drinking, video games, D&D, the occult, the alphabet mafia, mental health, and revolting against fascism. The folk tones convey a vulnerability, not just a typical rage and anarchy that punk has. It can be emotionally intimate, but at the same time aggressive, using elements of American country, Western songs, traditional Irish ballads, Romanian folk tunes, as a way to be honest, sometimes brutally honest, about the subject matter it covers. Not saying there aren't some fun ditties in there, it's just that there's a song about partying all night, every night, Don't be surprised it ends with rehab or a major fuck up. Generally, shows and music videos have the same kind of aesthetic. You got a roof you can access, that's a perfect place for a video. A park that won't have too many people in it, perfect place for a music video. Got a friend with a cab and a GoPro, put him in the front row of your next house show and boom, you got a music video. As for the folk punk look, we got a bit of a spectrum here. From traditional punk with battle jackets and pins and patches, to inked up farmer clothes that have a dirty, plain, crusty look to them. That's usually colored very muted colors like light or brown or gray, but they're totally inked up. To a more dirty gutter punk look who also enjoys acoustic Dropkick Murphy songs. Where did folk punk start? It's a long storied history. I'll trim down the fat best I can, starting off with Woody Guthrie, the quintessential traveling musician, going to town with very little on his back, only to play as many shows as he could to help him stay alive. His songs are rooted in anti-fascist policies, American landscapes, beautiful ballads of solidarity.
But when you die and go to heaven, you'll find no policeman there.
The folk style of expression is the inspiration of traveling musicians, only using minimal instruments to express their frustration. While he was 100% a folk singer, his DIY style would be a cornerstone of folk punk. Later first, the 70s happened. The early days of punk, the great melting pot of ideas, lyrics, and sounds, all with the ethos of fuck it. The Violent Femmes were one of the first and most commercially successful bands to fuse punk and folk. But they were still just chasing down the Velvet Underground's more artsy style in my opinion. In the UK, the fusion of folk and punk was pioneered by Irish band The Pogues. The Pogues, formed in 1982, whose mixture of original songs and covers of established folk singers made it formed in a punk style. We also got the Men They Couldn't Hang With, similar proto-punk style in 1984. Also of importance was the Oyster Band, who developed from playing English K-Lee music, with a fast and hard rock sound from around 1986. Probably the most successful figure associated with the English 1980s folk punk is singer-songwriter Billy Bragg, who enjoyed a series of hits in the 1980s and became a distinct influence on later folk punk acts. Many believed all you needed was yourself, a guitar, and inspiration to make an album. Then the 90s and the 2000s happened, with the foundation of Planet X Records. The idea was helping musicians who follow the philosophy of do-it-yourself, signing bands such as Against Me, This Bike is a Pipe Bomb, Defiance, Ohio, Kimya Dawson,
I lit his house on fire. He came home on acid. I was holding his shotgun. I was dressed like Tina Turner and beyond. Thunderdome. He said,
and many others. Also around the time that folk punk would be adding a few extra elements from the other punk genres, faster punk rhythms and bleakness of crust punks. Yeah, it's on the list. As well as the hobo lifestyle of the crusties, aka gutter punks. Oh yeah, not only is that on the list, it's next month's episode. Yeah, despite its origins, a folky sound, and the sheer amount of buskers that must be folk punks, the traveling hobo mindset is a relatively new thing. You sang to eat, you eat to sing, and blow through a moonshine jug. Bring us to the current generation of folk punk acts like Pat the Bunny,
piece of shit. I don't know if anyone feels that way about themselves, but yeah, song about
Ramshackle Glory, Days and Days,
Trusting anyone. This is my misanthropic confession.
etc., etc. Very in keeping with the traveling, rambling DIY spirit, it's evolved as time goes on. Now, you regulars might be wondering why the long tongue waggle on this one. It's a bit more detailed than I tend to go into. One, most of the genres I go over don't have such a detailed history. It's nice to get into the evolution once in a while. B, this one's gone through changes. No one's gonna say the femmes sound like sister wives sex strike. Real life folk punks. Actually, not skipping. Generally, when I cover music, I say if you listen to the music and make the music or rep their DIY merch, you are a folk punk. But folk punks have attached themselves to some pretty friggin' punk orgs. My show, my rules, so I can choose when I break those rules. Let's get into it. Food, not bombs. They have been described by Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer back in 2010 as food terrorists by sharing meals in front or near places of power. You have to love it when the guys running the show that they are just as stupid as the rest of us. 1,000 chapters of Food Not Bombs active in 60 countries. In Europe, the Middle East, Africa, the good old US of A, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. Not a charity. They're trying to inspire the public to participate in changing society and focus our resources on solving problems like hunger, homelessness, poverty, while seeking an end to war and destruction. By feeding some hungry people, popping in their own propaganda, and more than likely a folk punk or two grabbing a meal with a sad acoustic melody. An example that we can work cooperatively without leaders, through volunteer efforts. Speaking of my own sensibilities, their efforts have also been joined by cowboys like Commander X and Anon. Punks of all walks coming together to fuck over idiots, feed some hungry people. It's a beautiful thing. Punks with lunch. Similar idea, but also offers people harm reduction and basic necessities. Fact is, people are going to be doing drugs, especially if you're living rough and tumble in the streets. So at least give some chooms access to clean needles, Narcan if your buddy goes Pulp Fiction on you. Condoms, and fentanyl screenings to make sure their stuff's clean. However, park rules.
Always leave a place better than you found it.
These punks also do community cleanup around neighborhoods and provide outreach counseling to help unhoused folks. My recommendations. Before we get into it, reminder, I will not be as deep as usual with my recommendations because I know nothing about music except what I like and I don't like. If you have the ability to craft music, to me, you might as well be Scanlan because, baby, you magic. Days and Days, Misanthropic Drunken Loner. Well, I feel seen just by the title alone. Fuck. My own self-flagellation aside, Jesse and Whitney's vocals just complement each other so well.
So call me antisocial, call it masturbation. Either way, it's a solo operation.
With Jesse's pack-a-day voice and Whitney's higher register, it's very bouncy. One of those folk punk songs that was made to be played around a bonfire. Going to this genre, I was, let's say, apprehensive about subbing out drums for washboards. Put that to rest as it sounds great. Good stuff to get a feel for the genre, and speaks to the misanthrope in us all. Days and Days, fuck it. Catchy, kinda sums up my default position on most things. But a lot of this is Whitney and Jesse's opening at Dave Fest.
So we're from Houston. What? I'll show you, Dad! Shut up! Yeah, we're from Houston, Texas. Don't seem too excited, okay? See, your reaction is how we reacted coming to Austin. Oh. See, maybe you should have had a better reaction. Then you've been like, that's not bad. That's pretty good. Okay.
As someone who gets an oh every time he says where he's from, I love hearing about city beefs. And I'll admit there's something to be said about a trumpet solo. Stick and Poke, Poison. Reminds me of a girl. With a power. Power of voodoo. Reminds me of a girl. Only half joking. I'm pretty sure she is a practitioner of ceremonial magic. Currently sucking exhaust in a big city, but is a wild child at heart. But yeah, listen to this one. I see her dopey, heart-shaped face, her and her two dogs running through tall grass, and it's a funny ditty. Sometimes that's all you need. And the rest are going to be some honorable mentions. Ones that I like, but I don't love, but you might like and think they're really good. Johnny Hobo, New Mexico.
Beautiful and free. My hand clenched in a fist, and my face in a smile. After hitching too many miles,
DIY Orgasm.
Who needs friends? I got me! Who needs beer? Me! Who needs sex? I got me!
Roll through the gates of hell.
Open up the gates of hell and roll me through fire and rock. I'm coming home to you. I am a leader, but you will not follow me. I ain't no preacher, for I'm full of blasphemy. See you in hell, boys. See you in hell, boys.
Weary Traveler.
Weary traveler and aimless wanderer. I'm cautious and I'm wary. You're reckless and you're fairly impulsive and unruly. We're bound to meet up surely new time. Our stories are forever entwined.
We don't get tired, we get even.
Me up all night, howling at the moon, and I'd still be on the outside of the world we dream of building.
Church Hymn for the Condemned.
God isn't dead, but I'll get that bastard someday. And I take the beauty of my chaos over anyone else's perfection.
Is Folkpunk dead? Fair question. Planet X folded in 2016. Pat the Bunny, who many saw as a folk-punk folk hero, left the scene, and Eric Peterson's gone to the big train yard in the sky. It's not. Folkpunk is very much alive and well. Apes of the State, Pitch and Pit are all still touring. A punk I know was at a sister-wife sex strike show a couple weeks ago. There's life and young blood pumping through the veins of this one. A rarity on this road trip. But hey, that's a fun, right? Helps you don't really need electricity for an acoustic show. If you're wondering why you haven't heard of it, it's not as sexy sounding as other punk genres. You can make a banjo sound sexy. Congratulations, you're magic. How do I feel about folk punk? Oh, you're selling blood to a vampire with this one. I like it. Songs of struggle against life, society, yourself, heartache. That the fight against your own internal demons is never ending. The cold comfort that sometimes they're your only companions. Next song's about starting a commune in space and hopping trains. Of course I like it. If I had known about this back in the day, I can see me and mine blaring this at Half Moon Bay next to a fire. Piss cold, but still singing some Pat the Bunny. And it doesn't hurt that Oh Brother Where Art Thou is one of my favorite non-action movies. So folk music has a place in my heart. And here I thought admitting I like RoboCop 3 was a low point of the show. Nope. Also, I've been watching Little Punk on TikTok for like 2 years, and her skits on Folkpunk are fucking funny.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hold on, I forgot the chord.
My only complaint is I didn't find a great battle anthem. Something that gets you ready to throw down. You know me, I love a good battle anthem, and nothing really scratched that itch. If you do, put it in the comments. Well, this has been What's Up Punks. Till next time, remember, communities can be formed from anything. Sharing a sandwich, strumming a guitar, declaring war on capitalism. Try a lot of things and see where it takes you. Walk on the acoustic side for a bit. But keep on being a no-good, dirty punk.
You know it, you love it, here's the spiel, let's do it. Hit subscribe to be my subscriber. Hit the bell so you know when I've actually posted stuff. Still no idea why those two things are separate now, but whatever. And of course, hit like to appease the algorithm gods. All fear and praise. On a list of whatever YouTubes, I am also probably not going to get any ad revenue for these videos, so if you would be so kind, check out that Patreon and the GoFundMe. Links in the description.